Hello, my friend. I am Raymond. Tonight, we are going to slow down. The world outside can be fast and noisy, but in here, in this quiet moment we share, everything is calm. Everything is safe. Please, find a comfortable position. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in. And let it out slowly. Tonight, I want to tell you a story about time, about magic, and about the beautiful dreams that live inside our hearts. It is a story called The Clockmaker's Dream. Let us begin. In a small, quiet village, there lived an old man named Elias. Elias was a clockmaker. His shop was a cozy, warm place. It smelled of cedar wood, old paper, and hot tea. If you stood very still in his shop, you could hear the heartbeat of 100 clocks. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It was a steady, comforting rhythm. Elias was a kind man with silver hair and gentle eyes. He loved his clocks. He treated them like old friends. He would polish the wood until it shined like a mirror. He would oil the tiny metal gears until they moved smoothly, without a sound. But lately, Elias felt sad. He looked at his wrinkled hands. He looked at the calendar on the wall. "Time goes so fast," he whispered to himself. "I have spent my whole life fixing clocks, but I have forgotten to live my own time. I have missed so many dreams." Listen to this sentence, my friend. It is a beautiful thought. Time flows like a river. Repeat that with me, very softly. Time flows like a river. One rainy evening, Elias was working late. On his workbench sat a very special clock. It was an antique clock, older than the village itself. It was painted a deep, midnight blue, with gold stars on the face. The clock had been broken for many years. It was silent. But tonight, Elias was determined to fix it. He worked carefully. He used his smallest tools. He adjusted the tiny spring. Finally, he heard a sound. Not a tick-tock, but a soft hum. It sounded like a musical note. Hum. The clock began to glow. A soft, golden light came from the clock face. The light was warm, like sunlight in the morning. Elias was very tired. His eyelids felt heavy. The hum of the clock was like a lullaby. He rested his head on his arms, right there at the workbench. And as the rain tapped gently on the window, the old clockmaker fell asleep. But this was no ordinary sleep. This was the beginning of a journey. In his dream, Elias opened his eyes. He was no longer in his shop. He was standing on a floor made of glass, floating in a sky filled with purple and blue colors. The midnight blue clock was there, but it was big now. It was tall, like a door. And indeed, the door opened. Elias walked through. First, he arrived at a magnificent place. It was a library, but the books were not on shelves. The books were floating in the air, gently flapping their covers like birds. The air smelled of vanilla and old pages. Elias reached out and touched a book. It felt warm. Suddenly, a large, white owl landed near him. The owl wore tiny reading glasses. "Welcome, Elias," the owl said. His voice was deep and slow. "Where am I?" Elias asked. "This is the library of forgotten stories," the owl said. "You think you have missed your dreams, Elias. You think they are gone. But look." The owl pointed a wing at the floating books. "Nothing is ever lost. Every dream you ever had is kept safe here, waiting for you to read it again." Elias smiled. He realized that his dreams were not gone, they were just waiting. Let's practice a phrase here. It is important to remember. Nothing is ever truly lost. Say it with me, slowly. Nothing is ever truly lost. Elias thanked the owl and walked forward. The scene changed. The library faded away into soft mist. Now, Elias was standing on a planet made of pink clouds. The ground felt soft and bouncy, like cotton candy. The air tasted sweet, like strawberries and sugar. He heard laughter. A little girl ran toward him. She was glowing, made entirely of bright, shimmering starlight. "Hello, Elias," she laughed. She grabbed his hand. Her hand was warm and tingling with energy. "Who are you?" Elias asked, feeling young again. "I am the joy you felt when you were a child," the girl said. "Do you remember? You used to run in the fields. You used to look at the stars." "I remember," Elias said. "But I am old now." The little girl shook her head. "Joy does not grow old, Elias. Joy is always new. You can find me in a cup of tea. You can find me in the smile of a stranger. You can find me in the morning sun." Elias took a deep breath. The pink air filled his lungs. He felt lighter. He realized he did not need to travel far to find happiness. It was small and simple and everywhere. Listen to the description of the girl. She was made of shimmering starlight. Shimmering means shining with a soft, wavering light. Repeat after me: shimmering, starlight. The dream shifted again. The pink clouds drifted away. Now, Elias was in a very strange place. It was a village, but everything was moving backward. The rain was not falling down, it was rising up from the ground to the clouds. The sun was setting in the east, not the west. Elias saw people walking backward, but they were smiling. A friendly clock with a smiling face rolled up to him. "Hello, Elias. Welcome to the backward day." "Why is everything backward?" Elias asked. "Here," the clock said, "we undo our worries. Think of a worry, Elias. Think of a mistake you made." Elias thought about a clock he once broke by accident. He felt bad about it. "Now," said the clock, "watch it go backward." In his mind, Elias saw the broken clock coming back together. The glass healed. The gears spun. The worry vanished. "You see," the clock said kindly, "do not carry your past like a heavy bag. Let it go. Yesterday is finished. Today is a new gift." Elias felt a heavy weight lift off his shoulders. He felt free. This is a wonderful feeling. Let us say it together. I let go of my worries. Once more, breathe out and say, I let go of my worries. Finally, the backward village faded. Elias found himself in a beautiful garden. It was the most peaceful place he had ever seen. The grass was emerald green. The sky was a soft lavender color, just before dawn. But the most amazing things were the flowers. They were large, glowing blossoms of gold, silver, and blue. Elias walked up to a golden flower. He leaned in to smell it. But instead of a smell, he heard a sound. He heard the sound of his mother laughing when he was a baby. He walked to a blue flower. He listened. He heard the sound of the ocean from a trip he took many years ago. This is the garden of memories, a soft voice whispered. Elias looked around. He saw that the garden was full of thousands of flowers. I thought my time was running out, Elias whispered. I thought I had nothing left. The voice spoke again. It was the wind, gentle and warm. Look at your garden, Elias. Look at how much you have lived. And look at the empty space over there. There is still room for many, many more flowers to grow." Elias looked at the empty patch of soft soil. He understood. His life was not over. As long as he had today, he could plant a new memory. He could dream a new dream. He felt a deep sense of love for himself, and for the time he had left. Let's repeat this final lesson. It is never too late to dream. Whisper it to yourself. It is never too late to dream. Slowly, the garden began to dissolve into golden light. The light became brighter and warmer. Elias opened his eyes. He was back in his shop. He was sitting at his workbench. He lifted his head. The morning sun was streaming through the window, lighting up the dust motes dancing in the air. The antique midnight blue clock was ticking softly in front of him. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Elias stretched his arms. His back was stiff, but his heart felt warm and full. He stood up and walked to the window. He opened it and breathed in the fresh morning air. He heard a bird singing. He smiled. He was old, yes, but he was also alive. "I will take a walk today," he said to the empty room. "I will buy a fresh apple. I will talk to a neighbor. I will make a new memory." The clockmaker put on his coat. He looked at his clocks one last time. They were not counting down the time he had lost. They were counting the moments he still had to enjoy. Elias stepped out into the sunshine, ready to live his dream. And that, my friend, is the story of the clockmaker. Remember, no matter how old you are, or where you are in life, your dreams are still waiting for you. Your garden has room for new flowers. You have done very well today. You have listened, you have practiced, and you have relaxed. Now, it is time to rest completely. Let the story fade into the quiet of the night. Your heart is light. Your mind is calm. Sleep well, my friend. Good night, and sweet dreams.